Diets. Everyone is on some sort of diet and they're all everyone can talk about at certain times of the year. But do they actually work? Let's talk about that. Hi, I'm Jamie Wright, an accredited nutritionist, and I specialise in helping people all across the world achieve their goals without those silly fad diets. For many of us, when we think of the word diet, it conjures in our mind a complex mass of conflicting emotions and challenging lived experiences. And it's no wonder, diets are hard. They often require us to drastically change our most ingrained dietary habits and routines. And, for many, these aspirations don't work out. There's no greater evidence of this than the old falling off the wagon chat that litters conversations throughout February of every year. But is it fair to make the claim that diets don't work? It has become an increasingly popular message in recent years and continues to gain traction as the body positivity movement grows. While the underlying motivation of the message is grounded in protecting others from embarking on the same horrible journey as those who are championing the claim, it's not without its own faults. So, let's have a look into it. Do diets actually work? If you've ever seen a conversation surrounding diets online, you'll already know this is an incredibly emotive topic. Let's not beat around the bush. There's an entire industry which exists solely to separate people from their money, time, and a healthy way of living, all under the guise of helping you lose weight. Through clever marketing, they burrow into our subconscious, preying on our insecurities, and convince us that the happiest, healthiest version of ourselves is our smallest self. And who wouldn't be sucked into this belief? We've been bombarded by this message from mainstream media and celebrity figures for decades. But those infectious beliefs don't just stop within our thoughts. They cause us to be drawn into the dieting industry and all of its promises. The promise of a happier life, a healthier life, to be liked, to be desired, to even find love. And once they have you, you're trapped. Diet after diet, solution after solution, with each new venture starting from a progressively less stable mental and physical platform. Our grip on reality begins to loosen as we continue to chase a smaller waist size. And the dieting industry never discusses when enough is enough, nor do they give you a survival guide for the years that follow a diet. They just keep throwing more and more extreme solutions and bodies at you. It's never enough. You need to be smaller, you need to be leaner, you need to try this diet next. So, yes, rebelling against this industry is justified. In fact, it's more than justified. It's expected. But not all weight loss is attributed to the dieting industry. It's important that we learn to separate weight change for self and for health from the predators of that industry who convince you that weight change is a necessity for acceptance and love in this world. And where, apart from the angst of millions of fed-up dieters worldwide, does the thought that diets don't work actually come from? Well, it all stems from research done in the late 1950s, where 100 people were put on a variety of diets and sent on their way. When the researchers followed up with them, they found that around 95% of the participants had not lost weight, regained any weight loss, or had even gained weight. The 95% figure is a popular one amongst the Diets Don't Work community, despite the fact that the original authors of the study criticised their own data and stated that it wouldn't really be appropriate to cite the data in the future. More recently, a range of studies have found that, even in those who have lost weight, many of the participants will regain it back. In fact, dieters may regain as much as 80% of the initial weight loss over the course of a 5-year span. But why? Why is dieting so hard? And why do so many struggle to maintain that initial weight loss over an extended period of time? If we were robots, weight loss would be simple. Simply consume less energy from food and burn more energy with exercise. Unfortunately, we aren't robots, and both our body and environment tend to make sustaining weight loss incredibly tough. You see, our body will react to weight loss behaviours in two ways. It will decrease the amount of energy we are expending, while simultaneously increasing our drive to eat more food. It's cruel, I know. I've been to the extreme ends of the spectrum, being both extremely overweight and extremely underweight. It's rubbish at both ends, believe me. Your body's requirements for weight loss will also change as your body size decreases. A smaller body will typically need less fuel to run, but when you're used to eating a certain amount of food or have a routine with it, then that transition to eating less food for a long period of time while you lose weight can be a real challenge. If we don't adapt our approach to work around the adaptations being made by our body, then we can run into a weight loss plateau. These weight loss plateaus can be incredibly demotivating and often lead to people ditching the idea of a diet altogether. Another major hurdle to sustained weight loss is our environment. We actually live in what is called an obesogenic environment, which is essentially an environment which is perfectly positioned to make us all that little bit fatter. From the mass marketing of convenience and ultra-processed foods to the endless working hours and the ever-reducing free time to exercise, It's desperately hard to sustain weight loss when both our body and environment are fighting back against us. So, imagine just how much more difficult all that gets when the dietary approach you're following is making you absolutely miserable. This is where the diet industry comes back in again. Fad diets are awful. They thrive on immediate, misleading results. An extreme approach to restriction, be it your total food intake, your food selection options, or even restricting yourself from entire nutrients, will always lead to a rapid change in weight. This rapid weight change is almost always changes in body water and stored carbohydrate. Trust me when I say this, no one is losing kilos of body fat per week. Fat loss itself is a slow and steady process. The issue with these rapid results and the extreme approaches to achieve them is that your body will fight back all the harder. It leads to a downward spiral of misery, hunger, hangriness, and eventually, overeating. The industry makes that out to be your fault, your lack of willpower, your lack of motivation. It couldn't be that the diet itself was the problem. No way. Dieting is hard enough without the gaslighting of the diet industry and the popularization of extreme, unsustainable approaches. People are set up to fail more than they may at first realize. So, again, you are justified in thinking that diets don't work if you have had this experience. It's entirely human to lose faith in anything that's put you through so much misery and let you down so spectacularly time and time again. But there are potential consequences for proclaiming that diets absolutely don't work. Making absolute claims, especially in nutrition, almost always misses the mark. We know that not every attempt to lose weight ever has failed. I'm sure you know at least one person in your life who has achieved significant weight loss and managed to keep it off. And if you don't know anyone, then at least now you know me, because I have. The potential harm of proclaiming all diets don't work is that it may lead to those who would benefit from weight loss never engaging in it. There is a whole raft of health conditions that you have an increased risk of developing or experiencing when you're overweight and or obese. This is a fact. I wish it wasn't, but it is. So, dissuading people who would live a healthier life with fat loss from attempting it is not good. Preventing them from engaging in potentially unhealthy weight loss behaviors is, while also simultaneously educating them on how to manage their weight across the rest of their life cycle. Also, it's important to mention that diets aren't for everyone, and incessant, unrealistic beauty standards can push a lot of people who shouldn't diet into the world of dieting. It's sad, it sucks, but it happens. I would say that there is a significant proportion of those people who would make up the diets don't work community, and I wholly empathize with them. You should feel angered by it. You should rebel against it. You should want to prevent others from traveling down that same path. You should, and I'm not going to tell you otherwise. But it's also critically important that you accept and empathize with those who would benefit from weight loss. Our stories, circumstances, and goals may be different, but that doesn't mean that we can support each other towards our healthiest, happiest lives. I believe that one of the other major issues with stating definitively that diets don't work is that we don't have a clear distinction for what a diet having worked is. What are we actually aiming for when we diet? Is it the achievement of society's beauty standards? Or is it a slim body, a lean body? Or is it, more simply, the prospects of a healthier future? Because, well, diets do work then. We know that even 5 to 10% of total body weight loss leads to significant long-term reductions in a risk of catastrophic health conditions. Is that not success? What's the barometer? Who sets it? Is it different for each person? That's the challenge with making an absolute statement like diets don't work. Everyone is unique, and we all have our own concerns and contextual considerations to factor in. Diets, do they or don't they work? It's a bit of both really. They do work, but unfortunately, we have an industry that has monopolized failure and has superseded the actual clinically beneficial behavioral changes that can achieve and sustain weight loss and healthy living. You have a right to your emotions. You have a right to share your experiences. You have a right to be angry, to turn your back on something that no longer suits you. You have that right. But please understand that the only way we can improve the culture, education, and lifelong success around weight loss for other people is to use our experience for their betterment. Some people need to lose weight for their health. Some people have been conned into believing that they need to lose weight to be loved. One doesn't have to compete against the other. They can both support each other. Don't invest your time, money, and effort into miracle cures anymore. Support others on their journey and help them find the healthy path to do so. Don't suffer unnecessarily. Use that to liberate or save someone else from that same path. What are your thoughts on diets? These are just a few of mine. If you have any more questions or even advice for other viewers just like you, let me know in the comments below, and remember to like and subscribe to the Myprotein YouTube channel for more great evidence-based nutrition information.